Welcome, welcome, everyone, every person. Welcome, Ernie.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Radio Toons podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
Big news today. Real big breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Sorry for any Drake and Josh fans, any iCarly fans. Real big news today. Dan Schneider, creator of those shows, creator of iCarly and Drake
10
and
years
Josh.
ago.
Yeah, Nickelodeon is breaking all ties with him.
Dude.
They're cutting ties.
I saw a picture of that dude, and
Yeah.
he is like, if you were to open the dictionary and look up creepy, had a picture of him.
Oh,
next
he's
to
a
it.
massive man, and
He is so creepy looking.
So I read the article, right?
Okay.
And apparently he has a thing with like little kid feet. All right.
Ah.
So if that's not grimy enough for you, I guess like there was times where he would take over the show's Twitter accounts, right?
Right.
And he would tweet out something like so from Sam and Cat's Twitter account, for instance. I think he works on that show too because it's his character.
Probably.
He would tweet out like, "Hey, we're gonna be on tonight. Write Sam and Cat on your feet and send it to our Twitter." Yeah. And so he got a bunch of, great material for that night. And then, like, I guess there was also a lot of accounts of him, like, asking the actors, like, "Hey, let me take a picture of your feet for the show, like, to tweet out tonight because we're weird and kooky here at iCarly and we'd like to be weird and all that." Yeah. So
That's pretty grimy, dude.
Yeah, so just a great man. All over, all in general.
I was in college when that came out, or high school? College.
I don't know.
I was in college when that came out, and even when I was in college, I would see my nephew watching those shows, and
like Drake and Josh or what?
Drake and Josh and iCarly. And I was like, these are such garbage.
It's weird because like I don't really like them, but I think that has a lot to do with the fact that like I'm out of that age range,
But I don't think so. Like, I've never liked Disney Channel, like proper Disney Channel shows. I have never liked.
Right.
Because all of the Disney Channel characters are always screaming, they're always yelling, and they're always crashing into things.
Yeah, see, I understand that, right? But I'll watch, like, Family Matters and The Fresh Prince all day.
Sure.
And, like, people that were, like, older than me at the time, they don't like them. So I get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
no, I get it.
Because, like, Family Matters sucks. Like, I understand it's a garbage show.
No, I get it. But, like, I'll go back and watch. Like, for example, I'm rewatching a show that is a rebrand of an old show called One Day at a Time.
Okay.
And I'll watch that show, and it's a sitcom, same as these. And I'll watch it and be like, oh, okay, it's the old school like tropes and stuff. Like I can get into it. I'll watch Perfect Strangers.
You'll watch garbage shows, is what you're saying. But
what? That's not a garbage show.
Dude, sitcoms are pretty. I'll be the first to admit that sitcoms are not like highbrow comedy. They are very.
Okay, sure, but like I'll go back and watch like All in the Family. Webster, Different Strokes, all these different shows that have these tropes, and they're not as horribly acted as they are now. Like the kids are literally just all their lines are screaming at each other about how they're in trouble.
Yeah, he gets a lot of flack for like his shows are like really bad.
Yeah,
Dan Schneider. But it's like if you watch this shit as a kid, the nostalgia is kind of gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure, but I can go back to a show and be like, wow, this is god awful.
Pokemon's a great example. Pokemon first game is such a grind fest.
Sure,
like it's a really mundane. Like to me, it's fucking boring. I can't even play those games anymore.
Well,
but people will always come back to Pokemon just because.
I can't play that series of games anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but as a kid, it's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, you eat that shit up, and people look at Pokemon like really fondly nowadays, which is just like whatever. I get it, nostalgia, whatever. But what I was gonna say too is that later on in that article, one of the guys is saying like they talked to people that worked at Nickelodeon, and they were saying apparently this guy like would always talk down to animators too.
Oh yeah, they were the lowest form of life.
Yeah, he was.
Nickelodeon.
He would say stuff like, "Oh, if I'm ever tired of like working hard making these shows, I'll just go make a cartoon one day." And I'm like, damn, like what a fucking asshole, dude.
Does he have any idea how much work goes into an animated cartoon takes way longer than a show. So how could he even make that comparison?
It takes months to make a fucking episode of a cartoon, and this guy's like over here shitting out these entire shows. Like I just,
in 2 months.
I know what you're saying though about the actual like quality of the show, because they're not clever, and like they don't have punchlines like regular sitcoms do sometimes.
And
a lot of them are...
every adult that they encounter is either really smart or really stupid.
Yeah.
It's never anywhere in between. There's always some form of that.
This is okay. If I'm really gonna get into it, I don't really like Drake and Josh only because I'm not always about shows that kind of just like jerk off the main character, you know, and that's
Drake.
That's essentially what the show is. Like it's like, oh, he's cool and he gets all the girls, and like that's the premise of a lot of the episodes, and fuck the fat one because he's ugly and he doesn't get the girl.
Josh in those, like in a lot of episodes, I'm admitting to the fact that I've watched a couple of these episodes, but it's like when you're with your nephew and he's watching TV.
Yeah.
But like Josh is usually just kooky and he's making some new invention or he's trying something new. Meanwhile, Josh is just standing back and be like, yeah, but I got these girls with me.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like, that's most of the episodes. And he plays guitar and sings, and he sings the main theme and all that. And then at some point, like early episodes were that. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in like season 2 or 3, I believe, their little sister becomes like a huge thorn in their side. Megan. Mm-hmm. And then the whole show becomes how Megan gets both of them all the time. Like in trouble. Or in a prank or something. And then the show's boiled down to them just going, Megan! Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it is. You know what's funny too is like, so like a while back I told you I had like a strange dream about Drake from that show. Drake Bell? Yeah, I had a dream. You know, it's because all those fucking memes were popping up. Like, they're like, oh, Drake, where are we? Or like, we're in fucking Final Destination from Smash Brothers or something. Like, dumb shit. And then the joke is always like, oh, Megan. She sent it. Megan! It's so stupid. Yeah, they're dumb. But I had a weird dream that I was in Las Vegas with Drake, and he wanted to commit suicide really bad. And even though I don't... That was a dream. That was a dream. And even though I hate the show, I was like sitting there like telling him like, dude, what? Like, you have a lot to live for, dude. Like that was a successful. Remember all the girls you got back? Yeah, I was like, that was a successful show, dude. And you still look good. You still got your looks. You know, like I don't know. Like, very strange. And then when you told me that, I was like, so did he kill himself? No, I don't. That was like my first question, but I guess it just ended. Yeah, it was one of those dreams where I just woke up or like I teleported somewhere else. You know what's funny is that he recently came out with one of the Stranger Things kids in some sort of promotion for, I forget what it was. Like I think it was an award show, and it's like an adult. It's weird because Drake Bell hasn't been in the public eye really. Okay. So last time I saw him, he was like on the cusp of being a teenager. Yeah. And now he's like a grown ass man. Yeah, he's standing opposite one of the kids from Stranger Things, and I'm like, he's a grown ass man. it's strange to see. You know like what I mean? In your head, you were thinking like they're the same age. Is that what you're saying? As weird as it sounds, yeah. Okay. Since like I don't know how long has it been since that show went on the air? Like 15 years, I think. Ugh. It's been a really long time, yeah. And then they transfer over because I mean everybody loved Megan. That's not the name of the show. But, like, everybody loved the fact that Megan was so clever and she would always get her brothers. So she got her own show, that iCarly show. And that was... I will say this. She's not the same character, though. No, she's not the same character. But what I'm saying is, like, that like, persona of her being super smart and clever and blah, 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 that carries over. You know what's funny? One time, me and my friend looked up iCarly on IMDb because I remember when it was new. I had told him, like, oh, yeah... My nephew loves this fucking show about like this girl that has like a website and all this stuff, and we looked it up, and the IMDb page was the first thing to come up back then, and he read a review off of IMDb about iCarly, and it was listing off how like everything about it was trash, and then when it got to Sam. If you know who Sam is, she's like the blonde girl on the show. Yeah, there's two girls, the Megan and the blonde girl. But all it said about Sam was a blatant lesbian. That's all it said.
It was just one sentence. Sam is a blatant lesbian, and that was it. I was like, wow.
We're talking about like a teenage girl. Like this is so like. Well, if they're 10 in the show, they're probably like 14.
It was fucking funny though. I thought it was great.
That is awful because like the show has some merit in the fact that like it's part of the new YouTube thing. Like it was a little ahead of its time because it's like these two girls had a YouTube show that they would do every day. Mm-hmm. I mean, they still went to school and for some reason just lived with her brother. Like that was strange because like yeah. But like she had a YouTube show and a lot of these kids now they have a YouTube show on the side just because it's like whatever. So that was cool, but like the show boils down to the same thing that Drake and Josh did.
That's another thing that I hate about like those Disney Channel shows. It's like teenage kids who are rich as fuck and somehow are like living on their own or something.
It's because they're all white.
It doesn't make any sense. Like like Sam and Carly like basically live by themselves, like with no parents.
Does the guy live with them? Because there's a guy in there.
Spencer.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not her brother. The other guy on the show.
Freddie.
Okay.
What about him?
Does he live with them too? Because he's always at the apartment.
See, that's the other. It's like I wouldn't be surprised, but he doesn't know.
Okay.
He's like he has a mom. So.
Oh, he has a mom.
But this other one called Jessie. You've seen that one, right?
Is that the one where they all live? It's like 5 of them, right?
Yeah, and they all like live in this house together, like without their parents. Like I'm like, dude. So I don't get it. Like
no, I think Jessie is the name of the babysitter.
It's a girl.
Yeah, it's the babysitter.
Oh, she's a babysitter.
Yeah, and she has 5 kids because the family's super rich and they adopted all 5 of these kids.
Oh, I see.
And so she's the babysitter.
That's because one of them's Indian.
The people
one of them's Indian, one of them's black, one of them's white.
Yeah. So it's the couple that like they got one of each.
Okay. Ridiculous.
I know it's really dumb. It's really dumb. But like at least that one had a competent adult. You know, sure. Jessie is a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
But the iCarly one still followed the same tropes in that, like, her guardian is an idiot. Complete moron.
Any adult on those kids shows is always like a dunce. Like,
they're stupid and wacky.
Somehow.
And they're like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, I thought I'd plant this, Coke bottle. Maybe I'd get a Coke tree. And they just look at him and go, what an idiot.
Adults. Fuck them. Like, that's what they're
They
saying.
don't pay the bills.
Yeah. You know what's funny, too, is, like, I always thought to myself, like, the guy that makes these shows, like, just, like, in my head, this was honestly before the allegations, I've always thought this, like, he just, like, gets off to writing stories about little kids, like, kissing and, like...
What do you mean?
Like, because on iCarly, like, they kiss sometimes, like, Freddie... and like,
wait a minute, that was a TV special.
Yeah,
like Carly's first kiss or something like that, right? Yeah, and
then he kisses the other girl too, and I'm just
what?
Like, yeah, so in my head, I'm just like,
they made that like a season episode, like a thing.
Well, I was just like, what does this guy just fucking write this shit like in his basement, like, and he gets all excited or something? It's so weird.
Well, they are teenagers. I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibilities. That's kind of
it's just weird though, dude. Like,
I agree.
To think of somebody writing that, or like, I don't know, it just.
And then they kiss.
It makes me really uncomfortable. Yeah.
No, I agree because kids shows have always been kind of devoid of that. Like even when somebody goes out on a date, they always get a peck on the cheek or something, and they're like, ooh, I don't know. That's as far as they go. But like according to like, because again, I didn't watch that episode, but like it's all over Nickelodeon whenever they have some sort of special.
Yeah. Like
when they had the SpongeBob has inflatable pants episode, that was like a special event.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
And they really hype up all their shitty shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say.
And then, but like for the iCarly thing, they made a huge deal out of her first kiss.
Whatever. Okay. I'm done with this. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of Dan Schneider. All right.
Well, I guess you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah, he's off to fucking Jaredville.
Jaredville.
Something else came out this week. Sea of Thieves wasn't this week, right?
It was last week.
But it was big news because a lot of people are extremely split on this game. As far as I'm concerned, like I see a lot of negativity, and then I see a lot of people defending it. So, what do you think, Ernie?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to play because I've tried on 4 separate occasions to jump on, and all 4 times it's been like, oh, hey, we found somebody, and you get 3 people on your team, and then all of a sudden 2 of them leave. And then you get 3 more people, and then 2 of them leave. And I'm like, this is fucking terrible.
So it's a shitty experience as far as you're
concerned. So far, but I don't know if they didn't think that this many people would log on all at once. But like I tried last weekend because I was like, oh, finally I'll get a chance to play. Couldn't get a team, and then I tried the day after and still could. Like the day after, and then that weekend I tried and nothing.
I find it kind of ridiculous that it's a $60 game and it's only online.
But that is a little ridiculous.
Maybe that's just like if I'm correct, PUBG's $30, right?
I believe it's 40.
It's 40?
40.
Well, it's not 60.
Well, it's not 60.
And
right.
Fortnite's free.
Right.
Like, how does Sea of Thieves expect to compete at all? I mean, granted, you used Xbox Game Pass and got it
right. Yeah. I mean,
free
I've already gotten my money's worth
uh-huh.
with Xbox Game Pass because I'm playing like Shantae.
Yeah.
I'm playing all these other games that I didn't think I'd have time to play, and now I'm just running through them like crazy.
It's a little bit like, how could you let Rare fuck that up? Like Xbox in my book has like Cuphead.
Right.
Like Cuphead was like their saving grace for a while, and now it's like, now Sea of Thieves, this game that's been hyped up for 3-4 years, is just shit online. It's like,
well, people have been calling it the. What is it? What is this?
It's like No Man's Sky of this year.
No Man's Sea or whatever. And
yeah.
It's like been the nickname of it because it's like everything's random. It's randomly generated islands.
What I'm trying to say is like, how can Xbox afford to do that? Like they really
people have such a hard on for Rare. That's the problem. It's like I do love Rare.
Nintendo 64 era Rare.
Yeah. But none of that team actually exists anymore. They've all been scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, and now like all that remains is whatever shill Microsoft bought out, and they have grabbed by the ghoulies.
You know, it's weird too because it's like even the employees that left Rare to make Playtonic, they made Yooka-Laylee, and that also is like critically panned, and people don't like it. So I don't know what the fuck is.
But it couldn't have been every single like. There's something to be said about like what I consider Golden Age G4 is like these set of people at this set time.
Yeah.
Like pre-internet days, like pre-everybody having internet days, and that core group of people that we originally worked with.
Okay.
That was like, dude, if we could have this forever, it would be awesome, right? But once we got past that, we got into a time where you could just read a review instead of having to wait 2 weeks for XPlay to review something. Stuff started to kind of falling apart, and I think maybe Rare is dealing with a little of that. They're just behind the curve.
Maybe.
Because they're coming out with something that, like, if you really think about it, if this is like a No Man's Sky problem, then they're behind the curve because
It does, because it feels like a game that should have been free to play. Like, that's what I hear, and I hear all the quests are really boring. Anytime you have to go back somewhere, like collect something and go back to deposit it, in my head I'm like, that's like MMO free-to-play shit. Like, I should not be paying money for that stuff.
Excuse me. Spirit Tracks is like that.
Not really, dude.
Dude, every time you get a piece, you gotta bring it back.
That's different, dude. You do a lot more than just fucking collecting like a skull or whatever you do in this game.
Okay, fair enough.
How dare you insult Spirit Track? Spirit Track is a fucking treasure, a hidden gem on DS, dude.
What is in the current like AAA title kind of thing? Rare hasn't made anything that's been better than its 64 counterparts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because they split up the team. You know, maybe you're right as far as like Rare was kind of like lightning in a bottle. That set people.
They should have just kept making.
Yeah, when they were allowed all of them together to make something on their own, that's what made good stuff. But when Microsoft bought them, it just kind of all collapsed on them. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's this it's pretty famous now, but the Did You Know Gaming that stars JonTron and how he goes through the development of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
I think that kind of illustrates the turmoil that Rare went through, and that's probably why a lot of people left, and things were reshuffled. It's like they were supposed to make Banjo 3E. And then it went to be 4 different games that eventually became Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's because the companies are like telling them to do this, and it needs to be more of this. And
hey, dude, what do people like to do? Oh, they like to do this? Okay, well, then let's just do this.
I see.
But that's not really what Banjo-Kazooie is. And then I think they listen to, like, I don't know, it feels like if Rare had really been listening to what people wanted out of Sea of Thieves, they wouldn't be doing randomly generated things.
Is that how Sea of Thieves works?
That's what I keep hearing.
Okay.
I haven't been on. I couldn't tell you, because when I first was hearing positive reviews for it, they were like, it's like Left 4 Dead, but you hunt treasure instead of kill zombies.
Yeah,
And I was like, you know what? That sounds really attractive. Like 4 people hunt for this treasure and then get back to the ship.
I'd really like to see what, like, I'd really just like to know what people think of this, like,
objectively.
I don't know, because, like, I obviously don't give a shit about it, first of all, but, like, Rare is a company that I really love because of, like, Conquer. Yeah. Conquer's one of my favorite games ever. Banjo-Kazooie, all the Nintendo 64 classics, and I'd like to see them have a success again, you know, because if something like that is, like, considered good, then they get more, they can get more, like, permission to do other things like it. You know what I'm saying?
It's, like, I think people love Banjo-Kazooie because it was one of those games where nobody else did a platformer quite like Mario 64. And yet this company did it. They made a game that was, like, on par with Mario 64 in every sense of it. Its controls, its bad guys, and its story. And, like, all those things matched up. And it's like when you get somebody that can do that, you're like, well, why can't they just do it again?
I know.
You know?
I know what you're saying, too. It's like Mario Odyssey just came out. So it's like, do the same shit you did before. Because, like, apparently they looked a lot at Mario 64 when Banjo-Kazooie was in development. They looked at a lot at, like, level design and stuff like that in Mario 64 and collecting stars and all that shit. So, like, they
did the same thing when they were coming up with Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah,
I believe, I hate to, keep referring to this, but when they did the Did You Know Gaming on Diddy Kong Racing, they were like, they literally rebuilt a level of Mario Kart 64, but put Diddy in a cart, and that's how they began their process.
Yeah, do that shit again. Like, yeah, and you know what? It might just be that, like, since Rare's not independently, like, owned or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Microsoft is not into those kind of techniques that they, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to say. But if anybody has an opinion on this, please feel free to chime in, because I have no idea what to think about this. I honestly don't. I don't care about the game. My only opinion was or the only thing I really cared to say was that, like, can Xbox really afford to let a game flop like this? Like, I really just feel like they have nothing besides Cuphead. Like, what is the last, like, good Xbox exclusive game that came out? Some Halo? Something Halo related?
No, Halo's pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
Gears of War did their collection, and then they did their...
Forza?
Oh, geez, stop.
There's always Forza somewhere.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's like all the AAA titles now, there's no reason to be exclusive to a console other than help us pay for our game, and then we'll be exclusive.
That's what Sony does.
Which doesn't usually lend to a good game, unfortunately.
I mean, Sony does that a lot with Street Fighter V. They did that.
And it arguably isn't as good as...
I think it's trash, but people play it. And then...
you gotta keep playing it to keep the...
Shenmue.
See, that's the thing. It's like you gotta keep playing it to keep the community alive.
Shenmue, they're doing it with Shenmue. Pretty sure they're doing it with Final Fantasy VII too, because that...
I'm putting it down. What day is it? I'm putting it down today. The Shenmue that's going to come out for Sony is going to be garbage. I'm putting it down right now.
What do you mean? What do you mean coming out for? You mean part 3?
Yeah, well, the one that they're helping to fund,
part 3, yeah.
Sony, it's going to be garbage.
Because
I don't think people remember Shenmue 2 or 1 the real way it was.
I don't think you understand the appeal of Shenmue 1 and 2.
I think I do, and every game since then has done it way better than that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like,
it's not.
where is it? Like, what is its call gonna be? Because before it was like, look at how many things I can interact with because I'm Shenmue. Look how many menial things I can do because I'm like, I can fit this all in my day before I go to sleep.
His name is
wake up.
His name is Rio.
Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Like that kind of thing was really impressive when he was on Dreamcast, and then the second one was like, okay, it's on Xbox. We should not have to be carrying these stupid boxes back and forth to earn money.
Well, if you want me to, okay, look, people like that game because it's kind of a cult classic at this point. Like it was, when it first came out. Sure, people were like genuinely amazed by it, and I think the reviews were mostly like positive. But looking back on it now, people like to laugh at it. That's why, like, the acting's really bad and the animations are like really
But it's
stiff.
so menial, dude. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So when this new one comes out, people are expecting more of that. If this is like Sharknado 3.
Okay, fair enough, but what I'm saying is that, like, well, let's take Street Fighter, right?
Games have taken its place for sure, because Yakuza, a lot of people say Yakuza is the spiritual successor of Shenmue, because it does everything that Shenmue does way better.
Exactly. That's
stories
what I'm saying. Like,
stories in Yakuza are like pretty serious, but they don't take themselves too serious. It's really goofy.
Yeah, but like,
you can go into arcades and play full arcade games. Like the latest Yakuza, which I believe is 6. You can go into the arcade.
You should play that game.
You can go into the arcade and just straight up play Virtua Fighter 5.
Well, at this point it's like 34 megs or something.
Yeah, the entire game though. No, Virtua Fighter 5 is pretty new, I think.
Virtua Fighter 5?
Yeah, but so you can play that in the arcade, in the virtual arcade.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then there's like Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Okay,
and
that's tiny.
It's still like crazy though. They have this.
You're right about that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that.
But these are you're making my point that like all these things are what Shenmue was known for when it first came out, and now every single game has this as a small part of their game. All these little menial things that you can do to not necessarily affect you, but they affect the world around you. And so, like, what is Shenmue bringing to the table in Part 3?
Probably not a lot, but
exactly. So it's gonna flop like crazy because it's like you're building off nostalgia, but you're not actually making something new.
I don't think it'll flop. I think it'll review badly.
Okay, that's what I mean. Everybody's gonna be like, "This is garbage," and I don't know why they made it. And take off your nostalgia glasses because this game sucks. But I still think people will buy it.
I think I'm still gonna enjoy it if that's what you're asking,
dude. Why?
Because of the reasons I just said, dude.
Yeah, but you're gonna get bored of it. Like, you're gonna be like, I could be playing Yakuza and doing the exact same thing without having to go home, go to sleep, wake up.
That's why I'm saying that you don't understand the appeal of the original Shenmue.
I must not, because having to get home every night so that grandma doesn't yell at me and be like, "You should get home you should get home sooner tonight."
Yeah.
I will, grandma. Okay.
You don't want to piss off
Cutscene.
Ine-san, all right?
Ine-san.
That's her name, dude.
What about Fokusan?
Fokusan is your friend, yeah. He also lives at that dojo or something.
He gets his ass kicked all the time. Listen.
Okay, that's
the one. Okay, here's what I will say. The fighting parts where you actually start investigating, that stuff is actually fun. Like, remember where you get a phone number off some dude, or not a phone number, you get a hotel room off some dude, and you're like, the person who knows about the 4-woo-doo. Is that the first one?
That's part 2.
Okay, so what was the first one? What you kept asking the man in black?
No, man. No? You don't even know. See, come on,
dude. There was a lot of questions. All right.
You might be talking about the 3 blades. There's a guy that.
Oh yeah.
You need to talk about you need to go to like a tattoo artist's like apartment.
Yeah.
And you fight him there, or you do like a
quick time event, and then you fight him in a parking lot.
Something like no. That's something different.
No, he runs and you catch up to him, and then the guys are all waiting for you in the parking lot.
Oh, maybe.
And then you kick their asses with the elbow smash.
Yeah. it was a really robust game at the time. I know what you're saying, dude, but I still think the biggest thing for a lot of people is probably going to be the closure. because Shenmue 2 was a massive cliffhanger.
Yeah, I remember that.
Land D was still at large.
Of course it was.
So nobody knew how the game was going to, like, how the series ended, basically.
They should just do, like, a movie and have at it. That, I think, would have been better than making a full-fledged game where you go around asking random people, do you know anything about Land D?
Dude, that's another reason why I'm telling you that the appeal of this game is kind of like that. It's shit. Like, no one has made a Kickstarter that's been like a spiritual successor to Shenmue. Nobody cares.
I remember somebody was like trying to make that game.
Maybe,
and they cut together like this really bad trailer of Shenmue 3 of him like standing on top of a building with all these helicopters around.
I think that's real.
It can't be real.
Because they
So at some point it was in development?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I think so. It's weird. It's hard
and he was still wearing that jacket.
Yeah. Dude, that's his jacket, dude. Come on.
Rio-san.
Well, anyway, we went off on quite a tangent there. Have you been playing anything other than Sea of Thieves?
No, just mostly Bayonetta 2. And by the way, just so everybody knows how much I love that game, I bought the original copy as a card because when you get the card version of it, like the physical copy, you get Bayonetta 1 for free because they give you a code and you download it. But since we've been using it to play Toons, I got really frustrated and I was like, well, it's on discount. So I bought a digital copy.
Bought a digital copy too. All right.
And now Steven and I can play co-op mode.
2-player mode. Yeah,
Two-player mode. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that on the show. It was pretty cool. It seems like pretty simple to do. I'm surprised they didn't have anything like that in any other Bayonetta title.
Well, it was just cool because we were both playing on Switches. Like, right next to each other. Local play is, like, super fast.
Yeah, I'm amazed by that, by the way. I've always, like, even when 3DS did it with Smash Brothers, I'm like, there's no Wi-Fi? We can just play with each other?
Yeah, they transmit to each other. So it's like a one-person thing. And that is so cool because the mechanics of it are very, like, you guys both have to beat it, but one of you is going to win.
Yeah, it's like a small competition, but you both still get halos.
Exactly.
You only lose stuff if you die or something.
You only lose the bet if you die, right? But one of you win, and whoever wins gets to break the seal with their kiss. They go.
Yeah, you didn't have to do it, but thank you. I've been playing Mafia 3. I bought Mafia 3 on PSN.
I remember when you first played it, you were playing the demo.
Yeah, on computer it was a pretty hefty demo, I gotta say.
Really?
It was like 25 minutes of gameplay. Yeah, probably because they had no faith in the game. And the game did review poorly, and it got fucking discounted, like, immediately. Anyway, it's like 60% off right now on PlayStation Network. It's like $15, I think. Down from $60. So I decided to pick it up because I love Mafia 2. Mafia 2 is so good. Mostly because of the... What?
I remember when you were playing Mafia 2, and you're like... I forget, you were saying, what's the story of the Godfather? And I gave you like a synopsis, and you're like, that's exactly what happens in Mafia 2.
I mean, yeah, like, I was gonna say, like, let me preface that with, I like that time period.
Yeah,
and sure. I like, people in suits all the time, and these old classic-looking cars, and old music like that. Because, yeah, the gameplay is kind of stale in Mafia 2, and you've seen this before, and like there's not really like a grand appeal to it. You collect Playboys, maybe that's appealing.
That's appealing.
Real Playboys, like they scanned them in and all that shit. But because of that, I was like, you know what? I want to try Mafia 3. I want to see what it's all about. And $15, not a bad price for that game because it's already gotten pretty stale. I'm enjoying it, but it is definitely pretty stale. I've gotten to the point where like. I know what the game's going to be from this point on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I watched you play, because I came in and saw a couple minutes of you playing, it looked very Assassin's Creed. A lot of sneaking around and a lot of assassinations.
Yeah, they added like so your guy Lincoln Clay, he used to be in the army, and he has a combat knife, and that's his thing. So you can sneak up behind people and like
slit their throats.
Yeah, like combat knife them and kill them, and that's like the new thing in this game is like. Last game didn't have so much stealth. It was more like duck behind cover, shoot people,
Yeah, because
more of that.
Or it's the 20s or whatever, and you're just like, see, kappa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This one has more of a like, okay, you come to this area first, right? You mess with their operation, you get their lord, their boss or whatever pissed off,
Mm-hmm.
You come back later on, and the boss is actually there. So you basically infiltrate the same place twice.
Oh, that's stupid.
It is, but it's kind of entertaining in the fact that like you know how like the Phantom Pain, you played a little bit of the Phantom Pain, right?
Yeah.
Once you like take over a location, sometimes people pop back in there.
Yeah.
And it is kind of satisfying to be like, oh, okay, I went through the practice run during the day. Now it's nighttime and the boss is there. Let me see if I could do this without getting caught or like, you know.
Okay, you know what? There was one thing, like when I first started playing the Phantom Pain, I really did like being able to explore the different areas.
Uh-huh.
But you're right. Once I started going back to the same area because they're like, the boss is here now. Or,
yeah.
There's a new package. You got to get it. And it's in here.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I've already invaded this place like 5 different times. The guards are in the same place. And I'm capturing the same dudes in the same order to get to this middle part. Uh-huh. So that's kind of why I stopped playing, was because until I got to the part with the ghost guys that walk towards you, which was not as climactic as I thought it was going to be. That was kind of a gripe of mine. I don't like I will do the same thing over and over again, but you got to give me new set pieces every time. But this one just had a different thing that I had to do in a place.
I think this is a problem with a lot of open world games. Like I find myself in Mafia 3 especially. I'll just be exploring on my own, and I'll go through this place, and I'm like, ooh, I found this on my own. Like, this is really cool. Like, let me go through here and, kill everybody and get the, reap the rewards and whatever.
Right.
And then later on in the game, they're like, oh, you have to go to this place. And I'm like, I've already been there.
Yeah.
Like, on my own, I already came here. Like, this is kind of, like, I don't want to do this again kind of thing.
Right. Because there's nothing new to find out.
Yeah. So
and they don't even, I don't know about that game, but in Phantom Pain, they're always in the same... They're always doing the same walk around. Like
not always. In Phantom Pain, they at least have different day and night cycles.
Oh, that's different though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that. Like you could just wait it out and go during the day, and you're like, I know where everybody is during the day, so I'll smoke my cigar, and I'll just wait for the daytime.
Let me say this about Phantom Pain. Metal Gear always really sets the bar for stealth games.
Mm-hmm.
This game, like Mafia 3, is like, I've pretty much whittled it down to like, I come behind a wall and I whistle. And the guy is like, what was that noise? He comes over to me and I kill him. And then
whose footprints are
these? And then I get a little bit closer and I whistle to the next guy and he's like, what was that? And then I stab him and I kill him. And it's just a bunch of that.
And just move over to the next guy.
And I can basically cheese my way through the whole base or whatever. So in that regard, it's pretty broken. And that's what I mean by like, Metal Gear wouldn't allow that. Like if somebody's missing for too long, they'll radio somebody else, and they'll get somebody in there to replace him. Right. Or if somebody's asleep, they'll wake them up, and then they'll call the other guards. It's like, it's more realistic, basically.
No, I understand, but at the same time, like, if, for example, the one medial, task that I had to keep doing was invading this one city that was 2 stories. And eventually I got it so that I could climb the wall by sneaking past these 2 guards that they circle the place, but there's this gap in between their marching. Yeah. And what I would do is I would make a noise on one side so they'd both go over there, and then they'd start walking together.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And so I'd have plenty of time to scale the wall. And then once I was in there, I was like, okay, took the files, killed the dude, rescued the hostage.
Yeah.
It was the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you earlier too. Is like, I feel like this is just kind of how new games are made. Especially open world games. Mm-hmm. I'm not like a huge fan of it, but I was like $15 for Mafia 3. I was like, whatever, I'm enjoying it. Because Phantom Pain 2 has that problem where I'm like, I do all these fucking missions just to get to the story parts,
Yeah.
Like, and Mafia 3 is really guilty of that as well. Like, I'm doing the same shit over and over again until I see that little, like, oh, here's a story mission. Now you get back into the cool documentary style, like, cutscenes and backgrounds to all this stuff.
That's kind of the reason I stopped playing Assassin's Creed, because, I will say, Brotherhood and Part 2 were the best ones for me. Because they had the story of Ezio. No, Ezio. Right. And, he had an interesting story, and it was more like there was more things to do, but it was more of the same from the first one, and they just streamlined the process.
That's more or less what Assassin's Creed seems like nowadays. Is like
it's the same thing. Like they took him. This previous one, they took him back to Egypt, and like they've flushed out the mechanics. Somehow the assassin, the more they go back in time, gets to be more badass. Because now like he jumps out of like trees and he can freeze time so that he can shoot an arrow, kind of like Link does in Breath of the Wild. So he's like getting more and more badass as he goes, and now he can use like eagles. Like I don't know if you could do this before, but you can use like a bird to like, you know, look at the area surrounding you. I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember Mark of Cree did that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That?
But like he has more powers and like I don't know.
I feel like the call for those games in particular, like Assassin's Creed, people just want to hear about what the new location is. I think when Ancient Egypt got announced, people were like, "Whoa!" Like I'm excited for this now.
I was excited to play the one in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, a lot of people were excited for that.
And like after the first chapter, there's a big spoiler in the first chapter. But once they get into the second and third chapter, I was just like, I don't care.
Is that the one that was like really buggy?
Yeah.
One of them where like their faces wouldn't load and it would just be teeth and eyes.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then you got to the sailing part, and to me personally, I did not enjoy the sailing part. Some people were like, "Dude, the sailing."
Wasn't that a different game?
That they made a different game based on that called Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
People like that game too.
Again,
yeah.
People love that part. I was like, I'm glad this is over. But so it was an integral part of the game. It's like one of those things where if you don't do it, like if you don't do the ship parts, the game becomes harder.
That's the question. That's the question that we ask on this podcast this week. Then, is Black Flag better than Sea of Thieves? You decide.
You know what's funny?
What?
A friend of mine, Josh, he played it, and he said like, if you're sailing a ship, you have to do all the crap to sail the ship. You have to man the sail. You have to steer it.
Sea of Thieves or Black Flag?
Sea of Thieves. Like you have to do all that crap yourself.
Okay.
If you don't have a crew, the ship becomes like a little smaller. If you do it, but you're still doing all this crap you would do on a real boat to sail it.
Fascinating. Okay. What about it?
But it's like the game really benefits from having 4 people, but you're actually sailing. You're not just like, I'm steering the ship this way, and then you call out to your crew to do something. Like, that's how you do it in Black Flag.
Right. Okay.
Right. But this one, you're actually maintaining a ship and doing all this stuff.
Do you think games really benefit from being ultra realistic like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. That was more or less my point.
I think a game benefits the most when you do something, you feel cool or it feels good to do this action.
It almost kind of like contradicts the fucking art style of the game, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't.
Like, the art style of it looks really nice. Like, the graphics look really nice, but it doesn't seem like a game that would be realistic in that sense, you know?
I know, because you're hunting for treasure, and sometimes it's like skeletons pop out of the floor and are going to attack you.
I kept hearing that. They're like, skeletons. You fight lots of skeletons. Yeah. Skeletons here, skeletons there.
Skeletons everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like I always feel like a game that has... I guess that's why I like Mario games and like games that make you feel good every time you pull something off. Because it's like, I never get tired of jumping in Mario. I never get tired of playing that game because once you pull it off, it feels like an accomplishment.
That's video games. It's like
right, but like when I'm doing a menial task, like when I'm doing something like remember in Super Paper Mario, you have to run on that wheel for like 5 minutes.
I don't remember that.
In Super Paper Mario, the one where you can go 3D, well 2D or whatever, there's a part where you literally have to grind out coins to get to the next area.
Okay.
So literally you're stuck there pushing left on your stick and running this thing until you get enough coins to get to the next area. Like, that's literally a part in the game.
Okay, what about it?
And then I was like, this feels stupid. Why would they allow this in a Mario game? This feels like work. I'd never want to feel like I'm doing work in a video game. But I can see why people are like, dude, this part sucks. But some people really enjoy it. Like, Josh was having a great time. Some people like steering ships. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I mean, like I was saying, I understand, like, games are supposed to be a little small burst of satisfaction. Like, that's how you know you're playing a good game. I just, the definition of satisfaction is different with every person.
Yeah.
Changes from everyone. So, I don't know. The amount of sailing I want in my video games is Wind Waker. That's as much as I care to fucking, learn about the process of actually sailing. So whatever. Like I don't know, like people were commending it on like, oh, it's supposed to be like the most authentic pirate experience.
I mean, that what I just told you does lend to that. Like, you actually have to steer a ship.
If you actually want to do that, by all means.
Maybe it is fun with 4 people.
Yeah,
maybe it's one of those things that like a lot of people are trashing on it because they're playing by themselves.
It could be. I know for a fact that's the deal with like Overwatch. People play that game by themselves and they're like, I fucking hate this game, and I'm like, well, get like at least another person to play with you. Yeah. You will totally love that game. It's a different game when you have more people.
It's like playing Left 4 Dead by yourself. It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like
if you play it with 4 people, it just becomes like a great time.
Yeah, Overwatch is a team game, dude.
The same thing. I guess you could say that about a lot of games like Fortnite and PUBG. Like they're funner with people. They're funner when you have a whole set of people with you.
Final thoughts, Ernie?
Well, on the whole iCarly thing.
Yeah, Dan.
Dude, I'm glad that hopefully that type of show dies with him. Okay. Because I never liked those kind of shows.
Would you let Dan Schneider be in a room with your child?
Never.
Never?
Never. Okay. Not even with my dog, because you don't know if he has a weird dog feed.
Maybe he's a bestiality weird dude too. Who knows? You don't want that. Nasty man.
And then Sea of Thieves, I'm gonna give it a real shot because I want to get on with the group of people. Really play it, because my opinions are all from not playing it, and you really do have to play this game to figure it out.
Right.
And then as for like, Assassin's Creed, I guess repetitive gameplay stuff.
We're not talking about that.
No. But like what we were talking about with the Mafia 3 and Assassin's Creed, all these things that make you kind of do repetitive shit. Mm. Depending on, I guess, the subject matter, it could be fun. You know what I mean? But if I'm doing work, quote unquote, like I'm going back to the same place because they're like, nah, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's like MMO stuff. I don't like that kind of shit.
MMO stuff does fall into that, like grindy.
It's weird though too, because like you're saying, like it has to be done right, because in a sense, Skyrim is like that, and Fallout is like that, where it's like, oh, go clear out this bunker or something and kill these guys.
One of my favorite games is like that, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, but depending on like the way it's done, it can be done well, or it can be done in a way that feels like work.
Dude, I could play Red Dead Redemption multiplayer forever.
Yeah, see, I don't get that, because I tried to play Red Dead Redemption, I really did, and I was like, this feels like a fucking Grand Theft Auto game, and I don't really care for it. Like, that's like I was saying with Mafia, it's like I like the premise. I'm not a huge fan of like just open world.
And that's what I meant when I said like it all depends on the
how it's done. Yeah, because like
westerns, I love westerns.
I love westerns too. That's why I thought I would like it, but it's just I don't know. I've told you this before. I hate horse riding in like every fucking game.
But it's the only game that does it right. Like you hold A and if you're riding off with the person, you hold A and you just match their speed.
Yeah, I know. It does a lot of things right, but I still couldn't really get into it. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like Zelda really changed my opinion on open world games in general.
Yeah.
But that's Zelda. Zelda's fucking Zelda, you know? Like,
they fucked up Zelda before?
When? Don't bring up CDI. That wasn't their fault. CDI wasn't their fault, so can't bring that up. Skyward Sword.
Two.
The Skyward Sword.
Two, and I was going to say Skyward Sword, yeah.
All right, I'll give you that one. But that does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.